without further ado, I have the distinguished honor and privilege of presenting to you the Queen of Color, the Mother of Artists, globally acclaimed, award-winning master acrylic artist, and the star of our show, GingerCook, as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylic. Okay, what? Now you can say.
Can we say something now?
Now you can say something. Now they can actually see you. Hey, you had to get rid of the bear. You know, the bear
I need
is
a
important.
blinking light or something.
I did a blinking light the one time, and you were confused.
Yeah, but I think I could remember now.
Really? Do you really think you can?
I think I can, right? I'm telling you what, I understand why he's saying that, you guys, because today I plugged in my iPad charger into
a Ethernet port.
Which didn't fit, and I kind of shoved it in there and broke both. So I understand.
And so if I give you a light, you think that you'll see the light?
Yeah, I think so. But anyway, I thought it would have been nice if he'd marked it. They look very similar, you know, without my glasses.
The thing is huge. Not even close.
I thought it was just like a new kind of thing, right? So anyway.
A new kind of thing.
I was just very sad about it, but, you know, that's the way it goes.
Did it bother me? Did I recover from it?
You were really nice about it. I could tell you were extremely disappointed, though.
You know, I can tell you a quick story here.
Yeah.
When Karen and I first got married,
yeah,
I went over, when we got our car, we got a Toyota Corolla something. Mm-hmm. And we drove over to her parents, this is right before we got married, and to visit. And I left the back windows open. You know, they were the hinge kind on the wing.
Yeah.
And she'd always see me where I would slam it and close it. She didn't realize, though, that you have to break the hinge on the inside. You have to collapse the hinge on the inside to make it close. Mm-hmm. So she smacked that window and shattered it because it was starting to rain.
Well, see, stuff happens. You know, this is exactly it, you know. When, you know, we're going, in case you're wondering, who are these people with their windows and their broken toys?
You know, they thought they were going to watch a painting show? No, not tonight.
No,
this is going to be reminiscing night.
Down old memory lane where we tell you all our tragic stories.
We don't have time to paint tonight. We're busy.
Really, talk about a tragic story. The painting we're going to be doing tonight was, I found this lady artist. Story. This is the best story, you guys. Found this lady artist. Her name was Suzanne.
I knew you were going to do that. I just knew it. I knew it. Because you can barely say it.
Valadon, Valadon. Okay, she was French, okay? And she started out, this was like, she like hung out with Renoir and Toulouse-Lautrec, and Picasso came to her funeral. I mean, this is a huge deal. And it's funny, I'd never heard of her before, but what's interesting to me about her was she was a model for these guys for a long time. Some of Renoir's most famous paintings, there's one where he has this woman dancing kind of and with this guy, and it's kind of a long vertical one, and you see them dancing. That's her. And Degas, Degas found her at the circus, and she was a trapeze artist. Well, her mother they'd been really poor, and then she started out as a lady's maid, didn't like that, and then went on to be work in a circus, and then she fell off a trapeze and couldn't do that anymore. And anyway, she ended up modeling, extremely beautiful girl, and started at the age of 15 modeling for these different artists. And, you know, was very interested in how they painted and learned really at the seat of the masters there, literally. And I guess, I'm trying to think, one of them had some books out on how to paint, and she got that. That's in her bio on Wikipedia, which is really interesting. When you read her bio, she had an illegitimate son. Back in those days, that wasn't the thing to do. It's just really, so she just didn't, you know, and she was one of the first women ever to get recognized in a salon, you know, of one of the big main Paris salons where she exhibited her work. So tonight, you know, she did a lot of nudes, which of course we're not going to do, but I found this flower arrangement by her I thought was pretty safe to put up here. And I'm going to show you hers. And then I'm going to show you sort of my rendition because we're only doing it at 6x8. So I'm going to talk about her. This was just so interesting that this gal was so respected and came from such humble beginnings, and really back when women, you know, women of all artists have always had a struggle. I mean, always. And she really just, you know, kicked these naysayers to the curb, man, and took charge. And she was one of the first women to ever paint male nudes. and she painted female nudes from a female point of view, which many people thought were more respectful. And anyway, I think it's kind of a neat story about her. I think you'll really like it. So tonight, if John would be so kind as to...
Wait.
What?
I got to push some buttons here.
Oh, he's pushing buttons. Well, I think what I'm going to show you is the printout of her picture, of course, and then of her painting, and then I'm going to show you mine. I'm going to show you I want to tell you why we changed a little bit. And of course, you're more than willing. I'm happy if you want to go back. I'll show you tonight 99% of this painting of hers and how I changed it. You know, the 1% is like what she added. And if you want to go back on a larger canvas and do that, I'll tell you why I wouldn't, but if you want to do it, feel free, because it's really cool. And when we tell you it's an abstract, it's really more stylized. When she hung out with Matisse, you know, that Degas and her were friends till the end. I mean, they stayed friends forever. Matisse was she probably painted more in the style of Matisse. Again, so it's she sort of started off as an impressionist and kind of scooted out that way, but really, really impressive gal. And I'm very impressed by the fact that she had such an amazing art career considering the time she lived in. And of course, she lived through both wars. She died in 1938, I think. So she lived through World War I and World War II, which wasn't a great time to be in France in either case. So there you go, you guys. So are you back down here?
I've been down there for the last hour and a half.
Well, he didn't say. So this is hers.
How can
and what I left at, I added 2 lemons, which I felt went very nicely with the background, skipped the yellow apples and the pear and all this other stuff and here's why. You know, when you're talking about any kind of painting, and I say this all the time to our Academy members who send me original artwork, I said, look, you got to have a center of interest. And so what is it? Is it the pears? Is it the flowers? I mean, you can't have, it's like having a story with too many lead characters, you know. So the flowers are either that or the lemons or the apples or whatever. So by just adding a couple of lemons certainly on a canvas this size, and the table now the center, you know, the center of interest is our flowers up here against here, and I think it's kind of a neat painting. But again, this was the entire composition, if you are into that. So we start off with a little yellow 6x8 canvas, and these are real canvas sheets, you guys. We talked about that before, and I know some people really like to paint on paper, and I have to say I'm not a big fan of that because it's very hard to get the same effect. Because really, when we're painting with acrylics in the way we paint them, we're painting in what was called the oil painting style of painting. All right, that's the oil painting style, which means that we're trying to imitate the brushstrokes that oil painters would be using if they were using oil paints. And if paper really isn't, I don't care if it says it's for acrylics or not, paper really doesn't lend itself as easily to that. And why struggle, okay? So now we're going to put out some paints.
Before we get too far along, can you give the name of the artist again? A lot of people are just getting here now.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay, her name was Suzanne.
Oh, that's the easy part.
It's Valadon, Valadon. Okay.
Valadon.
And she
French gal.
She was French, and also her name's in the. If you go down, I made sure I had it spelled correctly, and her name's in our description below this video if you want to see the name. And I mean, her life was just amazing. Okay, everybody.
Very colorful lady.
Very colorful lady, and she, you know, as my mother would have said, well, she got around. Well, she did, but also she, you know, she married well, divorced several times. Had an illegitimate son. I mean, life. She moved in the fast lane, but also I think she was a genius of an artist when you look at some of her work, and she certainly was beautiful because all these artists wanted to paint her. So we're going to start off with just putting the paints out while we talk, which I think is kind of fun. And this, incidentally, we appreciate so much if you just happened upon our channel. If you just take a moment and subscribe, that's just a nifty thing to do. And also, if you're liking this, and you know, I know there's so much information coming out over the internet. You know, our Art Academy does one painting a week, new one. We do a couple of new videos every week on YouTube. And then you may see some other stuff that you like that's around, and you're just a little overwhelmed. But what you can do, and this is a great favor to me, is just if you think you might ever want to paint this, put it in your playlist. So you're going, yeah, but I don't know how to create a playlist. Well, yesterday John created on the Tech Bear channel, video channel, which is our other channel, the Tech Bear, he created a short video on how to have a playlist. And what else is on there, John?
How to create your channel. If you don't know how to create your channel, you have to have that first. But if you're chatting, you know how to do it. But if you're not chatting, this will help you with that as well.
Yeah, and also, you know, for instance, some of you saying, I can't chat. Well, apparently you have to have a channel to chat. And so John's video will show you how to do that. So that's the Tech Bear over there on YouTube. You want to pop over there, and he put that up last night. And that, I think that's an extremely helpful video. The paints I'm using today are Holbein's acrylics. I happened to buy some when we were in Savannah, Georgia. Nobody gave them to me. I bought them. I kind of like them. Some other, you know, so I always like to tell you.
They're very strong pigment.
They're very strong. Oh, wow, they're strong. The pigments on them are very, very strong. It takes very little to change colors with them, which is a good thing, really. And so I do like these. And I think I've got some other colors I might be interested in getting at sometime. I'm going to get out some phthalo green today. If you don't have it, just use yellow and phthalo blue. It really won't make that much of a difference. I thought we might try their phthalo green as long as we were playing a little burnt sienna.
Hey, we want to welcome our moderator tonight. We have Judy at the helm with Wendy as backup coach.
Hey, Judy, and listen, Judy's had a heck of a last 2 weeks. She has been without air conditioning in the southern part of the United States, which is like being...
Well, no, the Midwest, which is even hotter than the southern.
But isn't she like in one of the Carolinas or someplace?
No, she was in the Kentucky.
That's southern. When did
Kentucky is southern.
Kentucky is southern. When did Kentucky suddenly become the Midwest? Ohio is the Midwest.
Is Kentucky considered a southern state?
Here's something I found on Wikipedia.
Haha.
United States, also known as the American South, Dixie, Dixieland, or simply the South, is a region of the United States of America. Did that answer your question?
No. But I'm right. Anyway, make my word for it. Look at a map. Kentucky is considered the South. Take the Civil War, for instance.
Okay,
what side
Judy,
of the war were
Judy,
they on?
Hello, Judy. Judy, are you there, Judy? Is Kentucky part of the South? Hello, Judy. Hello, is this thing on? You know, someday we'll be able to have all of us chatting at the same time. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, they'll really confuse
325
everybody.
of us sitting here.
Just all chatting and yelling at the same time, going, it's the South.
Missouri is in the Midwest, and it's hot today.
No, it's
It
the
is
South.
way south to me. I'm in northern Wisconsin. Well, yeah, that's cheating.
It's the
It's
South,
north of
man.
me,
It was
I'm in the south.
No,
Kentucky
south of
is
the
definitely
Mason.
southern, says the Bama girl.
South of the Mason-Dixon line is the South.
Oh, then you have to know where the Mason-Dixon line is.
Well, some of us know that, John. Some of us know
Kentucky
things.
has a
Some
mixed
of us
history.
read
Now, hey, wait a
books
minute.
and we know things.
We're hearing it from Judy. Kentucky has a mixed history. So it doesn't know if it's north or south.
Oh, well, it's hot. That's for sure.
Anyway,
we know.
she's been suffering.
And now she finally got it fixed. So yay for Judy, right?
Yeah, but
and
then now her art was stolen.
Her art was stolen. No, this is just so terrible. She lives in this sort of, I don't know, like a condo that she owns. And there's like this common hallway. And so she hung up some of her 16 by 20 paintings, like 8 of them in the hallway. She went out this morning and someone had stolen them. Unbelievable.
Well, it's kind of a compliment.
Well, I mean, say that, you know, I mean, well, I
So
don't
what
think
we need to do is watch eBay and Etsy and see if they show it for sale.
Yeah, there we'll go. Then we'll know, right?
Then we'll know.
Then we'll know. Okay, so you see the colors. Aren't this pretty? All the little pretty colors we've got out. What is this? Burnt umber? I didn't put that out yet.
What's Burnt Umber doing over there?
Well, I put burnt sienna over here, so I didn't have a spot for it anymore, so I moved it over here. Normally burnt umber would be over here. I guess I could do this. Here, I'll tell you what I'll do, because I don't want to confuse anybody. We'll just move
We're only
this.
confusing me, but in the sock folder, I know where it belongs.
Okay, well, I mean, I just made this up in the first place, so like there's no like rule or something.
But this is how it's always been.
Well,
Don't
this is
change
true.
things.
I know, isn't it
I
funny?
don't like change.
I know, gosh, neither did Cinnamon's dad. He couldn't stand change.
You can't, no, you don't need, if it works, you leave it alone.
That's what he always said. If it works, you live it alone. I think you guys would have been good friends. You know, not you know, he's not dead or anything, but we really don't speak a lot. So anyway, yeah, and you're talking about broken windows. So when
wait, where did broken windows come from?
Well, I mean,
Did I fall asleep over here for a second?
I was just thinking about Karen, and she broke that window when you were first married.
Well, you're going back to the beginning of the show.
Yeah, so back to the beginning of the show, we talked about his first wife, Karen, broke a window inadvertently, by the way.
Yes,
It could have happened to anybody. It certainly could have happened to me. I get it completely.
Could have happened to you. No,
yes,
be
for
guaranteed.
Sure. But anyway, so we had got this new Dodge Charger. We were in Las Vegas, and we'd been married. I don't know, Colby and I had been married less than a few months, and I had gotten a brand new Barracuda, Plymouth Barracuda for a wedding present, okay, for my dad. And we were riding our motorcycles from Colorado to California, and we had one of our friends was driving the car and pulling our Airstream motorhome, and he jackknifed it out in the desert and totaled our brand new car. So then we were in Las Vegas buying this Plymouth Barracuda. So when we got it, it had these kind of taillights that went really up. There was new thing all the way around the back and the big sloping back. And I was backing up the car, and I hit a telephone pole, and I just didn't say anything about it. And I came back. He goes, I came back after. I did that right at the campground. And he goes, you didn't think I'd see all the broken glass? You want to talk to me about how this happened? What happened? Want to talk to me about how you broke this taillight? But like I say, it could have happened to anybody.
It could have happened to anybody.
Anyway, that was so funny.
The color below the oxide is phthalo green.
Yeah, this is phthalo green. And we're just, because this is this Holbein paint, we're just playing with it. All right, so one of the things we can do, for instance, is talk about an oval here. This is, you see, if we kept going with this, like here, like if you imagine that this circle kept going, it would be an oval. Do you guys see that? See, if we went out like that. So if we were to take some, come up here like this, if we were to just let's take some chalk, we could actually see. I think I'll
white
use
on
blue.
yellow is really good.
I want to come over here about 3 fingers and just do that. And I know it's making everybody crazy when I'm going to put this part of the circle here. And how wide do I want my table? I want my table about 4 fingers wide. This is from my painting party days, because you'd get out the ruler and half the room would glaze over. You'd be amazed at the number of people who do not read rulers, John. They can't read them. They've never learned to use them, or they can't see them.
How can you not learn to read a ruler?
Well, it's like map reading. Back in the day before Google, map reading was required by some, right? Let's just put a line across here like this. Now we've got a ledge that's coming down like this, okay? Like that.
We're reminiscing about the first cars we had.
Yeah, the first cars. And then, where were we with the rulers?
Oh, somebody had a Maverick. Remember the Mavericks?
No, I wanted a Mustang. The dealership was closed. And Dad said, what kind of car do you want? And of course, those Mustangs were the hottest new car out there. I wanted one in the worst way. And Plymouth was making a Barracuda, and Ford had the Mustangs. And of course, we didn't get a Mustang.
Of course
because they were closed, and they were all busy. And he only had so many days to go get me a car, and he didn't see why it really made much difference anyway. I should just be glad I was getting a car. And I'm not saying I wasn't glad. I'm just saying it would have been nice. I really wanted the other car. But then we ended up with this Plymouth
the old MGBs.
All right, so I'm going to use a little, this is it's called a triangle, you guys. If you don't have a series of these.
Really? Is that what that's called? Are
you
sure?
Yes, it's called a triangle for a reason. It's a triangle shape, okay?
I'm so glad that it's not called a circle. Even though it has a circle in the middle of it, why isn't it called a circle?
Well, you could use that too. So anyway, the reason that these are nice is because if you're not a big fan of rulers, you can just
So I'm going to have a triangle instead? I don't know. I'm against rulers. I'm going to get a triangle? Of course I am. It makes sense to me. Yeah, absolutely. The triangles will overtake the world.
Okay, it doesn't make any sense.
Will you focus?
It doesn't make any sense to him, but those of you who are with me, you know it makes sense. You know what I'm saying here? So we're going to come over about 3 fingers.
It looked like 3 fingers. We all know what your 3 fingers look like now.
3 fingers, and if you put this line even with the top of the canvas parallel to the top of the canvas, this has to be a straight line. And then if you needed other straight lines, you just need to, then it can then go off other straight lines for other stuff that you need, all right? So,
Boy, we got that out.
Yeah, huh? That was good, huh?
That was good.
Well, okay, so I think it would be helpful before we draw in the vase and stuff. For me, it would be helpful to just do the background. Now, you know, oil painters can't do that, but acrylic painters can do that. And why can we do that? You were going to give me some brushes, as I recall.
Oh.
You're just sitting there doing nothing.
Yes, my queen. Your whisper is my command.
That's it. I love that. Keep it coming. Oh, I got to show you my new toy while he's hunting brushes. Look at this, you guys. You're going to be so jealous. This is so cool. Well, I have a white one, but mine's downstairs, and who's going to run downstairs and get it? Nobody. He has John, this is John's, but this basically mine too, because I'll swipe it when I want it. So, so now I'm feeling a little vindictive. So what this is a little fan, okay? And it has 3 speeds. You can put it around your neck, and you can fan your face. You can put it on high speed, and if you're traveling, you can dry your paint. And it's very lightweight. It has a little string like this. You can put it around your neck, and then, see, it goes like... I
believe they call those lanyards.
Whatever lanyards? Is that what they call that? Well, anyway, you can wear it, and it's very lightweight. And oh, the best thing about it, right?
Could you turn it off so I can use it tonight?
Yeah, yeah, I'm turning it off. John's been hiking with it.
Okay, open it up. Oh yeah, I know how to use this.
Here, oh, nice. Oh, that's lovely.
See how it's blowing her hair?
Anyway, what's cool about it is that you can just leave it like there on the desk and just kind of have it aimed at your face. And sometimes when you have a fan going, it dries your paint, so you can have the fan aimed where you want it. We found them on
personalized fan.
Personalized fan. So we found these on Amazon. We just thought they were cool. They're under $20. We thought they were cool. And also we thought when one was cruising, they'd be just nifty keen when they make you stand out there. That's a lifeboat drill in the heat for 20 minutes while you wait for all the people who didn't feel like showing up, because no one gets to leave till they all come. What'd you do with the brushes?
Put them right there next to you, boss.
Oh, yeah, here you go. You did. Well, I missed that. Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have a 1/2 inch, a 3/8, and a 1/4. All brand new.
Oh, I do. What? Is that what this is? What is this one? 1/2 inch. Well, so it is. All right. So, and also you might want some Posca pens later, but we're just dealing with that. Okay. So you guys are all making me laugh here. All right. So let's just we're going to start with a damp brush and wipe it off. These are new. It probably has some sizing in it, so I'm really going to swish it around. You know, there's always a kind of a thing with new brushes. Now, I want to take some fresh yellow and just come up here like that. This is my second coat of yellow. And while this is still wet, I'm going to add a little tiny bit of Cad Red Medium over here.
Not much. You see how much she put on?
Like
that paint is so strong.
And a little bit more yellow here. I just put a little bit of yellow in. It's really strong. I mean, it is so strong. He's absolutely right. I mean, you need less than what would go on the head of a pin. One little orange over in this corner. Just a little bit of this yellow up here. And then I want to take a little bit of burnt sienna and yellow oxide and come down here and just sort of, I'll just put a tiny bit of water on my brush, just the tips of it, and just kind of blend that up in here like that. So just some little, you know, darker streaks, and then I think we had a little bit of burnt sienna, just the paint right there, and then some burnt sienna on our table. I think we'll just do the bottom of our table, and here's some burnt sienna, and we'll just do the top of the table like this. We'll just give it a coat, and then we'll work on it from there. Acrylics work best when you layer them. And one thing I've seen, and even so some really good artists, is sometimes I think you have to put the paint on in one giant big glob, and it's better to have thin coats and layer, okay? So that's really what you're aiming for, is thin coats and layering. So anyway, that's the thought on it. Like that? Yes. So I think our fans are nifty. Cool. Speaking of fans, are any of our fans making any comments that would like some questions answered?
Well, no.
No? Nobody wants any questions answered? What kind of a deal is this? You guys don't have any questions?
Chatting about the triangles and the cars, and they're not really paying attention to what we're doing. I think we can just go home for the night.
Really? Okay. Yeah. All right.
Just call it a night.
Okay, so I'm going to say there's a little burnt sienna. Oh, I tell you what, these are brand new ruby satin silver brushes, and I just love them when they're brand new like this. Nothing like a brand new brush. Now, one thing you can do, I don't know if you guys have ever do it, just put a little, like a little tiny drop of water on your tablet, and then because you just want to moisten your brush, you don't want to dunk it. I think there's this feeling that you've got to give it a bath, which you do not want to do. And a little bit of ultramarine blue and burnt umber makes a very nice dark color. Here's this sort of, she'd had the table here, and then she had another kind of like that. And then she had this like this.
Vicky's painting along with us.
Well, Vicky, are you painting along?
Attention. Most of us are.
Did my friend Kathy Schuster ever make it to the thing?
I have not seen Kathy's name go by. She'll have to do it again. I mean, the chat's been going crazy.
I don't know. We challenged her to see us live. She's just
challenged her. That's what we need to start doing, is challenging everybody to see us live.
Well, all right. Here was the thing. John calls up people all the time from our academy and answers questions. Like if someone's having trouble logging on, or they can't get something to work on Facebook or YouTube or whatever the problem is, John gets these emails, and then he'll take some time, actually call the person and help them. I mean, you've never seen tech support like is in our art academy. Nobody's got anything like that, I promise you. Nobody would bother with that. But John does. But the problem was that because John came from Michigan, and that's where his phone is, I'm going to put a little bit of red here, now here on this side. Okay, and see how we keep streaking everything? Okay, a little bit of red right there. Okay, the problem was that when he would call somebody, it would just say, miscellaneous call from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Well, the thing of it is that's what the telemarketers are all doing. I get probably 5 of those a day with just somebody wanting just something from Medicare or something like that, and they don't tell you who they are. They're just this miscellaneous number from somewhere in the United States. And so basically what one does with those is just plaintively ignore them. Okay, here's a little bit of white and with a little peach, made a little peach color with yellow, white, and cad red medium. We're going to put that up here like that.
And what can I use instead of the yellow oxide?
Instead of yellow oxide, well, if you have yellow ochre, that's good. It's almost identical to the same thing. And then also,
have either one of those?
So if you didn't have one of those, look at here's yellow, and here's a tiny bit, like less than 1% of purple, and then a tiny bit of burnt sienna, a little bit of burnt sienna, a little more yellow. How'd I do? Pretty close, right?
Pretty close.
Wow, huh? Aren't you impressed?
I am. How'd you do that?
Yeah, because I mean, there you go. So probably yellow and burnt sienna would even work better than before you put the purple in, but the purple will work. Okay, so here, remember I told you it's just a little bit about
Hey, Janet would like to know, has Ginger ever used a fan brush?
Yeah, I did a whole video on YouTube on a fan brush. Remember, what was that? That was the lavender fields. We got a video for that. Yeah. And Cinnamon's got a great fan brush that she had specially designed for. Fan brushes were never worked well with acrylic paint. They work well with oil paint. Cinnamon on the Archer, my daughter.
It's right in front of you in the big char. I can see it from here. Put your hand out, straight out, right there. It's right there, right there. The red, that's
yeah,
it.
So this is Cinnamon's, the Art Sherpa brush, and that's my daughter Cinnamon, in case you guys didn't know that, right? Anyway, so she had this one specially designed, and they went through a lot of in conjunction with the Silver Brush Company, who also makes these ruby satin silver brushes that I like. Okay, and these are stiff enough to work well with acrylics, where the others. The reason it's hard, for instance, if you're doing, like said, the Bob Ross style of painting, sometimes it's hard to get what he got because he was working with oils, you're working with acrylics, and it's not as effective. And incidentally, like I say, we just got our order of brushes in from the Brush Guys, and it's thebrushguys.com, and this is who we buy our brushes from. They also carry Cinnamon's, and if you use my name, GingerCook, all one word, they don't care. Under the discount code, you get 5% off, and they ship all over the United States. So if you're, and all over the world too. They ship all over the world, global, not just the United States. All right, so here's some white, a little tiny bit of purple.
And
okay.
yes, this is Holbein acrylic heavy body paints.
It's heavy body paints. They're very, very fine, very smooth, pigmented heavy body paint. And I'm going to come right next to that line I just painted here, and about the width of a brush here, about half. What did you say? What did you say? It's about half an inch. It's a finger. It's a thumb.
The thumb thickness.
Thumb's width. There's this blue stripe, and now I'm going to take a little purple and go right over this. Got
Well,
a little
anyways,
bit.
back to the story. If I call you now, it'll say GingerCook Live.
Yeah, so back to show. Yeah, I got yeah. So what happens is if you call us now, I had this idea that that there ought to be a way for us to call you, and it would say not Michigan, but our academy, and we figured it out. And
You're only allowed so many characters, and that's all that would fit.
so we're just you're only allowed so many characters, but we had to go actually up into the Verizon website to the account here. Here we go. So here's some of this is a burgundy and a little bit of ultramarine blue. That's that color right there, in case you were wondering. Okay, and let me take a little more of this purple and widen this up over here too. Just want to widen this up this way. There we go. I'm just going to widen this up like that. Okay. So now rinse the brush. Notice that. Now take a little white while it's still wet and just do this and streak it. See what I'm doing? While it's still wet, just do a fast little streak. Sometimes you can just do a couple things and that's all you need to do. You don't need to just keep, overpainting it, okay? Like something like that, and then just stop. Okay, because that's going to be the colors we're going to use in the vase. So I've got enough of a background now where we can go ahead and keep painting. We can put in the flowers. Sound good? So I'm going to dry this real quick. And incidentally, before I do that, if you like flowers and this is a great week to join our art academy, GingerCookLive.gallery. We're doing Van Gogh's gladiolas, and I'm showing you this really cool sponge effect to use on the background. And I did a 10-minute painting, a little tiny 10-minute sample painting of this, but this will be released this week, okay, on our website. This is a 9 by 12.
The Lord willing, the creek don't rise.
Yeah, that's what's scheduled to be released, and one of Vincent van Gogh. So we don't just we like to feature a lot of the art that's come before. We also do all kinds of original pieces, but that happens to be one that we're featuring this week for our video lesson library members. And that really, for under $30 a month, you've got over 300 lessons that you have access to 24/7, and we put 4 to 5 new ones up every month. Isn't that amazing? I mean, and the difference between, say, this and say a YouTube lesson and an academy lesson oftentimes is the size of the painting, the length of the videos, the in-depth, and then of course you've got your personal art coaching, which just trumps everything. So
trumps everything.
Trumps everything, and you can not only use their personal art coaching for the videos that we have on our website, but you can use personal art coaching for any of our YouTube videos also.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you did.
Oh,
Stop
yeah.
it. We're moving on. Okay.
Moving on. You're silenced. All right. While she's drying that off, we thank everybody for showing up today. If you have not subscribed to us, please do so. Make sure the little alarm is on. There's a little bell down there. You want the little quotes around it. John, you said you played a clarinet. Oh, yeah, I played a clarinet in 6th grade band in the high school. There's a story behind that. And, yeah, that was fun. So if you haven't subscribed, take a moment and do it now. Ginger won't start painting until we're all done subscribing. Let us know when you're done.
You're so funny. Okay, I want to do something here. I'm going to show you what tape does. This is some 1/2-inch tape, which I'm going to lay right here and pull it tight like that. Kind of line it up to make sure I have it straight, okay? Like that. Then I'm going to take a little palette knife and skish it down. And then I'm going to take a dry brush with no water on it.
That's why I call it a dry brush.
Yes, that's why they call it a dry brush. Well, you're quick on the uptake, John. I've got to give you that. You may not understand the bit about triangles replacing rulers, but for the most part, you're right on. You're spot on.
There's no way a triangle will replace a ruler.
I know. Oh gosh,
I will never follow a triangle.
When Cinnamon's dad and I were building our first house, let me put a little white with that. Cinnamon's dad and I were building our first house, and well, it's the only house we ever built, so I guess it was the first house. It was the only house, right? Well, we lived in a condo for a while, but we actually built this house, all right? So what happened is that we were measuring it out, laying it out on the dirt and measuring it, which was fun, right? As long as I'm doing that, I might as well put a little of this yellow here too, just to see where I am with the yellow. Okay, so I wanted to do that. Let me just make sure that that's covered.
You're trying to cover that darkness that's under there?
Yeah, well, I'm covering that darkness. This was exactly right. Exactly right. And I'm just doing this like that. Okay. Now I'm going to pull the tape off. Ready?
I'm ready.
See? Beautiful
Whoa.
straight line. It's just nice. That's called artist tape, and it's just a good
Kathy
trick.
Schuster's on.
Unbelievable.
Hi there,
Kathy
this is your
Schuster.
caller ID quality control specialist.
Wow. All
That's
right.
who we called to see if it worked.
All right. So I want to just, while that's drying, let me just put this out of the way. We're going to talk about this vase for a minute. Hi, Kathy. Kathy, I've known Kathy for, I think we've known each other since the early 1990s, however long that is.
Last century.
Yeah, last century, man. We've known each other a long time, and we've traveled and painted together. Kathy's a lovely watercolor artist, had a gallery for a long time in Somerville, Texas. And now she and her husband are both retired, and they travel the world. So, all right. So I want to talk to you about this vase that she did, okay? I can just show you hers so you can kind of see it, right? So look, it kind of comes out like that. Do you see this sort of cone shape? We're not going to see the bottom of it, but that's where it would be, right? And then it's got a triangle here. See the little triangle? Anybody else see the triangle? Like that, see? And then there's this little, kind of round at the top. And then she's got a handle that's coming out, and this disappears behind the fruit. So you're going to have to imagine where the handle went. We'll have to make it up. But that's the shape of this, all right? So if somebody writes and says, is there a traceable for this? I'm going to slap you upside the head. Please, you guys.
There'd be no traceable.
We're just showing you how to do this. I mean, it's really simple, right? And if you're worried, you can do it inside a rectangle, right? And just come in a few steps like that. There you go. See, if you're not sure, you can get it totally straight like that. There you go. And then here's your, there, see?
You're in your triangles tonight.
Yeah, so anyway, that's how you do that, just in case you were wondering. I don't understand how she did the vase or whatever, right? So that's what we're doing. So
Kathy says it was 1995.
1995, yeah, I think we met at Robbins Gallery, art gallery, and there at the Willowbrook Mall. We've known each other for that long. And
1995, wow.
That's a long time, and we've been friends a long time. Her husband's birthday and Chuck and mine are very close together. But they're going to Machu Picchu that next year. They're not coming on the cruise to my birthday party. I don't know why, but apparently they're not.
I think it's far more important.
Yeah, so I'm going to just start down here, pretty close, about a finger's width away from the line here, okay? And I'm going to say, how tall is this? It's like four fingers, so about like that, yay. And we know that you've got to have a it's got to angle out, right? You guys know that, right? I think that feels a little crooked because it still feels a little crooked. This is why we use chalk.
And why we dried it too.
So let's see, maybe this will show up. I'm going to just bring it here like this. There you go. All right, so basically that's the only shape I really just need right now, okay? That shape right there. I'm going to have a shadow coming here. I'm going to have a couple lemons here. Okay, I think I had this over maybe further. I had this line over here, I think, in the other one. Doesn't really matter, I guess we could do that. You know what I love about acrylics is that if you need to make another decision, you can do it. Because you just paint over it. Where if you were, Kathy will tell you, if you're doing watercolor, there's no time to be making other decisions. You made a decision, you better have it right because it's very hard to fix. It's fixable, but a little bit harder, okay?
Not like acrylic.
Not like acrylics, because I just, I'm going to just sort of say I want my line here now instead of there and still there. Okay, that's where I want the line. Then I'm going to take this purple, a little bit of ultramarine blue paint, and start in the middle. I know everybody wants to outline the edges, but one of the secrets is start in the middle. I'm going to rinse this brush because we picked up a bunch of chalk. Start in the middle and work your way out because then you can, you've got a little bit more leeway about how you want to do it. So here's my vase right here like this. I mean, it's this sort of cone shape. Okay, like that. And then it's going to have a spout that's going to come up like this. Kind of that little triangle we talked about, yeah? Now this is still using the 1/2-inch angle brush, all right? And I'll put a little of this color in here too, like that. Okay.
Of course you do.
So, all right, so then what? Well, this point, that could dry. All we care about, that
We
could...
have an interesting question come up.
Yeah, what?
Why 2 lemons and not 3?
Um,
Because we're always taught to do odd things.
I know, but I did 2 lemons and some grapes. Just 3 things.
That makes up for it.
Just 3 things. I did 2 lemons and some grapes. Well, you can have a pair of things, right? 1 lemon would have been, you know, kind of odd. And I didn't want to do all the stuff that she did.
Well, you
right?
certainly can't make lemonade with 1 lemon.
No. I mean, how could you, right?
No.
So here's a little bit of white here in this little tiny 1/4 inch brush here, like that. And I'm going to take the same white while this is still wet and come right down the front of this like that, and then wipe that off. Now you see how, look how that white covers that. Aren't you impressed? Because that was wet purple, and it still wanted to pull that out there. Okay, so there's my little bit of purple on that vase. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is just sort of put in some of our flowers. Okay. And I like right about the center of this is some, I'm just going to take some magenta and ultramarine blue. That makes a very nice dark kind of burgundy color. And their magenta is a little translucent, so that's pretty. So here, so you don't want quite a circle, okay? And I'm going to come up from there, take a little cad red medium, and just kind of off of there, between 1 and 3 o'clock, I'm going to add another little flower here. Okay, there you go. Then we're going to come back up with the dark one. Say there's another little dark one, right? A little bit of, right, let's see, there's that one, and we got a little dark one here. And if yours are a little bit somewhere else, that's okay. And then we'll come up here with another dark one right here. There you go, kind of a half a one. Then we're going to come up with white and magenta and cad red medium, okay? Maybe a little yellow. Yeah, that's good. Put a little yellow in there. That makes it kind of a peach color. Nice. And we're going to say that over here, we want to kind of overlapping this. I want a flower there, and I'm going to make this one a little bigger. Okay? And let's see. We'll just keep going and put a little bit more white with that color. And say I've got some sort of little white. Going to add some color here, some sort of little white peach one here. Off to this side, I'm going to have a little lighter one. It's actually kind of purple. But, wow, that color is so strong, isn't it? Did you see how that grabbed it? Okay, so I'm going to have one there, okay? And if yours are slightly different or in some other place, just have some touch, okay? That's what I would tell you. Have some of these touch. So like right above here, I've got another one that's sort of just cad red medium. And I'm going to have that kind of touching this one. Wipe the brush off. Didn't want any white on it, okay? Here's one here that's touching. Then we go back to a burgundy one here. Okay, and this is where you could put out another color. You could put out just regular red, which is Naphthol Red Deep. That's your, you know, like your red on the color wheel. And note to self, the cap just fell on the floor. That's John's self, not myself, right?
That's my cue.
You don't have to get it now. Just get it later.
Forget about it, and it'll never get done.
Who said? I remembered it. Didn't I just tell you just now?
Yeah, but that's
Okay.
what I'm doing now.
So there's this red one, then we got a white one. So we got some sort of a red one back over here that's going to get overlapped with another white one. But see how they're all kind of touching?
That's the one you dropped last
Thank
time,
you.
too.
And then I'm going to just come down here off to the side here, and I've got a fairly big one. I'm going to just say there's that one. We got another one here, and they're all touching, you guys.
Jazz would like to know, Ginger, do you ever do limited palette paintings, like 3 colors?
Well, Jazz,
ultramarine
we've
blue?
got a beautiful Monet that we did 3 colors with, and I want you to look at Jeannie. You know, my sister. You know, the painting that we called Jeannie. That's a 3 palette one. I use the same colors all the time, though. I mean, we pretty much use the same colors all the time. We almost never buy greens. You know, I'm not a big fan of you know, getting greens. Now
we bought a phthalo green with a Holbein because we felt like it.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what it was. All right, so here's a little yellow and cad red medium. I want a little brighter orange here, and I want to come up here like this, and I want, let's see, let's get a little more yellow with that. Here we go. I want a little bit brighter orange right here, and here next to here like that. Let's just, I think I'm going to just bring this table back down a little bit. Okay, so far so good, yeah?
Would you consider the flowers are being painted on thickly?
Yeah, these are fairly thick, though we are going to have to dry. We've got this white one here. I'm going to have a little bit of a, red one just kind of popping up slightly above that one. Yeah, they are thickly, and here's that one, that one, that one, that one. Yeah, for sure. They're, I've got some paint on it, but it will dry. If we hit it with the dryer, it's going to dry. And as I keep, rinsing the brush, I think I want to put a little bit bright yellow right there. Make that orange stand out. And I want a little bit of bright yellow under this one right here, under that purple flower. So, I mean, you can keep playing with your colors even after the background's done, but we can just let this dry for a minute and play with the table. Shall we do that?
Absolutely.
So here's a little, here, what you want to do is when you put the paint on the brush, wipe it off. Here's a little yellow oxide right here on this edge, maybe just a little bit right here. And I always like these orange colors, and if I put them on the table, then I'll just a little bit of red here, maybe a little bit of yellow oxide. Just come around here like this and just start layering some colors on this table. It's a little burnt sienna. I will say the Holbein paints, this is what I'll say about them, is that the pigments on them are so beautifully, they're really strong, okay? So, I mean, I quite like how they are, really like them a lot. And the price seems to be equivalent to other paints. Oh, and we have a surprise for you guys.
Oh, I love surprises.
I know. Guess what? Besides having a 10-minute painting that we're going to be giving away tonight to our viewing audience, right?
Our live viewing
Our live
audience.
viewing audience, not as opposed to people who are watching this later, right? Besides that, I was going to tell you what we're doing for next week.
What are we doing next week?
Monday, Daniel Elliott has agreed to come back and paint with us.
No way.
Yeah, now that he's
Semi-professional painter.
semi-retired and he's working full-time as a professional artist, it's hard to get him. He's even busier than before. But I talked to him today, and he said he would try to squeeze in some time for us to come back. And I said, well, what are you going to do? I said, one of the things I think people would really enjoy, I'm going to put a little white on this flower, by the way, right now.
Oh, Dorothy Radley's has to leave us. It's 2:15 in the morning in the UK.
I'm sorry, Dorothy, but thank you for being with us.
Loved having you.
We loved having you. Okay, so here's
You
a little bit
said
of the
that.
light color here. Okay. So what he said that he could do, which is cool as can be, it's a little bit of a light pink on this part of the table. I just love all the subtle colors that are all over this this table. Just think it's kind of cool. Is that he's going to do a thing on perspective from the male point of view. And
I like how you added that.
Do you? Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a little bit of purple, yellow, red, and purple. Here's a nice deep purpley, darker color flower up here. I'm going to do as much as I can with some of this before I have to dry it. Because I know I'm putting in a few of the dark colors here because I know I'm going to dry it. There's a little water puddle right there. I can see it if I can blot it up right now. See that? Yeah, okay. So this would probably be, here we go. Let's just finish this table. Yeah, so he said he'll be here for our live show on next Monday, and we will be, hearing his thoughts about perspective in a landscape. How's that? So it'll be some sort of landscape, and I don't know exactly what it is that he's.
No, we never do.
We never know. He doesn't know.
No.
Come on, he doesn't know till he gets here half the time, right? But John and I've got this up. We're going to have our new auction for the original GingerCook paintings. This is our quarterly auction that we do, and that's going to be ready when?
We are shooting for some of them should start going up tomorrow.
All right, so we're staggering it, and the reason we're doing that is so that
they all don't end at the same time.
All the auctions don't end don't end at the same time. See, where'd the yellow go? So anyway, when Daniel's piece will also be in whatever he does Monday night, we'll put in the auction, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that we did that last time too, that we had some of his pieces, and his work goes for thousands of dollars. So if you can snake one of Daniel's pieces, it's a real deal here. Let's come up here and do a little of this color up here now.
If I can only buy a few of the Holbein colors, what colors would you recommend?
I would get the cad red medium and the I would get it and the yellow and the reds and the yellows. Try to get those. The magentas. They're very, very strong, for sure. I would get those, right? And their white's very nice, but believe it or not, they have a very nice white paint. I think their white is lovely. You know, just saying, right? So I do. All right, so I got to dry that. Nothing else is going to happen. So you just kind of see where we're kind of staying. And here's the thing: we're staying in this family of colors because now you think about it, we're not doing any of the green because green is opposite red on the color wheel. And what that means to you is that when wet green and wet red make mud. So if you try to paint green leaves and stuff and stems over these wet, everything just kind of goes terrible on you. And then you say, I don't understand what happened to my picture.
My pretty brightness.
And if you think about that red and blue make purple, you don't want to put wet green over wet purple either. Does that make sense? So that's why you want to dry. Certain colors you can keep playing with and others you have to dry for. So we're gonna dry these, right?
Right. All right, well, she's drying that. The auction and our website, let me just pop that over like she's drying that real quick. That's our website's right there, and you'll see that the GingerCook auction is at gingercookauction.com. So kind of make a note of these. Those are the different websites. The on-demand is where we have our videos that you can download and own forever. And we have new releases coming out. We just released 2, which aren't on the site yet, but we have more coming this week as well.
Oh yeah, that is such a nice deal. And sometimes you're going, why would I want to do that? Well, the reason you might want to, have a video, if you want it, like for instance, Liz is camping this week, and she's got one of the downloadable videos, and she's taking it with her. She's got it on her computer, and she will not need internet connection to watch it, which is a great reason to do it, I think.
Now we have our Back to Basics series of lessons that you can own. It's 24 videos, approximately 12 hours of videos that you can personally own forever. And these are the must-have videos if you want to paint in the GingerCook style.
Well, look, they cover blending, they cover clouds, they cover all kinds of things. And they're the brush strokes you need to create all the paintings. So that when we talk about, something being, kind of difficult to paint, okay, and we're going to put some green and then we'll finish the final colors on the flowers. So first off, I'm going to just show you what phthalo blue and yellow would be. Here's our nice bright green, okay? And we'll play with their green too. But for instance, if I were to come in here like this, if you look at her picture, the leaves are sort of helter-skelter, and then I'm going to come up kind of in here like this because you don't really see too much of the stems at all. There's a couple that are doing this, and then there's some that are kind of coming out like this. This is what these little angle brushes are so perfect for. All right, now I'm going to just put some yellow on here, right on top of that green. You see, and it just almost mixes right on the canvas. You see, kind of see how that would be. Okay, and again, there's just not a lot of there wasn't a lot of green on here, but But if you have to reshape a flower or something and put a bit of green, now's the time to put it in there. Okay, and I'm going to take some white paint now, and a little yellow oxide, and I've got green on the brush. Do you see that? So I'm mixing this sort of off-white green color, sort of this, and it's going to come back over here on my table, and a little bit more white with that, and maybe a little yellow oxide, a little drop of that. And the hardest thing when I got to get used to these particular paint colors, the hardest thing for me was that that took so little pigment to change them. In other words, it took so little of the ultramarine blue to change the yellow into any kind of, so you're talking about a lot less color to get a big color change. I mean, just a drop of something will change something pretty drastically. And I'm going to put a little green in here too, down here at the bottom, as long as we're playing with green, like that. Dry brush a little of this green on here like so. I think that's pretty good. All right, so we've got the,
Looking good down there.
got our table. And I want to make sure this is straight up and down too, by the way. See, that's where the triangle's handy because you can paint right with them. All right, now while we're, this would be a good time to put on the handle. And if you need to draw it in first, you could. But I'm just going to say I want it to be here. I think I see some water right there. I do. And I'm going to say I want it here. I'm going to have it come out here, and it's going to go up like this and back down around like that. Okay?
Wow,
But that was wet. That was wet. Let me just dry that real quick.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. That was quick.
Am I back on? I'm going to take a little phthalo green and white now and see what that does. Ooh, that's a pretty color. Look at that. That is a bright color. I'm going to put a little of that on this handle like that. Oh, isn't that bright? And come up. That drop of water really messed that up, by the way. It's interesting. So let's take a little of that phthalo green color and just put it up here. That is pretty. I love that color. Wow, that is nice.
Well, that's one of your favorite colors.
Well, it is, but I really, it's really, that's lovely. I'll put just a few things here. There you go, in the vase. There you go, like that. All right, so I'm just going to stop there. But that is definitely a beautiful color. Now, if you're using the same brush, after you've played with green, you really have to stop and take that off. Okay, so we've got a nice light color flower coming here, sort of a peach one with a tiny bit of yellow in it. Yellow makes a great peach color. And right here, I'm going to say that we're going to layer on a color. Let's put a little more white with that. And a little more white. There we go. And just some sort of little flower right here like that. These are not real complicated flowers. And I've got a little bit of I'm going to put a little more color in this one now. Remember, we did this one earlier, so I'm just going to add a bit of color to that. And maybe just a drop. Sometimes it's just a couple of brush strokes is all you need to do, to add contrast to something. If that is happening there, you see this color and this color, I think what happened is I put that green right above it. So I'm going to put a little yellow right there so that flower shows up, just all. And I'll make it a little bit darker on top. There we go. So wherever there's a light, there's a dark. You guys remember that, right? Wherever there's a light, there's a dark.
Got to have the contrast.
Got to have contrast. Now this purple one was interesting, and then here's a little bit of white and purple, and a little tiny bit of magenta, and very nice with that. All right, so let's try a little bit of this purple color right here, and I want more white. So there we go. More white on this. Okay, more white. All right, and I've got another little purple flower up here that's all by itself. Okay, that we put up here. And I feel, again, as long as you kind of layer your flowers, I think they'll be fine. And here's a little bit more white with that. Put a little bit of white in here, and I want a little bit of white, kind of white and peach here that kind of seemed a little dark. Okay, like that. Okay, so and then as long as we'll see, is this dry? Yeah, I think so. So then I'm going to take white. I want these lemons, so I'm going to just I'm going to put the lemon in, and
Lemony fresh.
So it's going right here on this one. We're just going to put a little lemon in here, kind of a little egg shape. It's really, think about an egg shape, right? And here's another one, right there, like a little. Now the brush has got a little bit of purple on it. It's not totally perfect, but that'll be all right. The lemons have to be white first before we.
And why is that, Ginger?
Because yellow only paints over white.
Really get it be a bright yellow.
To bright, happy yellow, it's got to be.
And you want happy yellows because you want happy lemons.
That's right. That's exactly right. You just hit the nail right on the head, John. That's exactly right.
Nothing worse than a sad lemon.
I know. You know what's fun is to watch a kid eat a lemon for the first time.
Oh, that's great, isn't
So just, you know, they feel there's such betrayal in their eyes when they eat it.
I remember doing that to Charlie. That was fun.
That's just such a mean thing to do.
It
So
isn't.
fun.
It's part of the adult, being a parent.
What is to, you know?
To be able to torment your kids. Come on.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. So let's put a little bit of orange right here, a little bit of brighter orange right there. See, just kind of pop up some color, and as long as we're doing that, here I want a little bit of brighter color right here on this flower, a little bit of orange on this one, and we're just starting to layer a little bit. Here's a little bit of, here's red, just real red, and come on up here the next
Real
layer.
red as opposed to
A
what?
cad red. It's supposed to cad. This is just naphtha crimson.
Okay.
But it's the second
I didn't know
color.
you put nap out. Was that? We didn't have a label on that. When did you do that?
I'm a magician. I just did it. So
Boy,
when
I
you
hope
have the
somebody
real
caught that.
red, you can have a little contrast with a little bit of, red and ultramarine blue make a really nice burgundy.
A great burgundy.
And great burgundy color, almost an alizarin crimson color. So I'm trying to get a little bit of this darker color in here before we get too far gone with this. A little bit of a dark center maybe.
Hey, we'd
in
like
that
to thank
one.
Anne Marie for the donation. We greatly appreciate that.
Oh, Anne-Marie, that is so kind. Thank you very much. We appreciate it very much. And here's what happens with the, when you guys donate to us, what we really appreciate that very much. Our website, if you go to our website, where is it?
Where is it?
Where's
You
the
mean
website?
the GingerCook Live.gallery
That
that we've
website.
had for years?
Yeah, that one, right?
I got you.
That website, right? When you go to the website, okay? When you go to the website, we have what do we have, John?
There's a button right there that says make a donation to the Karen Little Scholarship Fund.
And who is Karen Little?
That would be my dearly departed wife of 40
Yeah,
years.
Yeah, 40 years, right? And
Yep.
in honor of her and she was always, what Karen used to do is she would make things like, she was she did all kinds of stuff, knitting and crocheting and stuff. She would make these beautiful things and then just give them away to people. Yes?
Yep, she
Am I
was a
pretty
giver.
much right? Yeah, so she would just give them away to people. And was really very kind, and she was a very lovely person. And so we thought in honor of her, we would name our scholarship foundation after Karen, because she really embodied what we feel that scholarships do. We end up, through your donations, we're able to scholarship a lot of people, and we thank you very much for that.
Yeah, we've done four so far this month. Last month we had 6, I think it was.
Yeah. So here we go. So we thank you very much for that. And it also kind of contributes to some of the paint we buy and all kinds of stuff. So there we go. So I'm going to just, now we had some grapes back here. She had a lot of them, right? And I'm just going to show you. She had a lot of grapes and all this stuff. So what I'm going to suggest is we just take the, because I told you we simplified all this. So while we're waiting for the contrast to work here, I want this to be a little darker here so that flower is lighter.
Waiting for the contrast to work. What does it have to do?
Because it dries, it changes, and then I have to either
gotcha.
lighten or darken it.
There you go.
How's that? So that the flower, see that flower now is slightly lighter than that one, and this one's lighter than that, and that one's lighter than that, see? And
So
then,
you have to know what your neighbors are doing.
yeah, so then this one's got to be brighter red here than that, see? We had some dark, but now we're brightening up this one, like that, see? All those things. So red's one of those colors you can absolutely do a couple times, and don't feel the least bit bad about it, because it really is effective if you give a couple coats of red. So what I'm going to do is just take the phthalo green color and some yellow, and I'm going to make this sort of bright green, and then I'm going to add a tiny bit of magenta to it.
Hey, Judy
And tone it
would
down.
like to know, where can you find the paint names for the palette?
Oh, Judy, this is such a cool thing. I dropped it on the floor over there, but I would show it to you, but it fell off the edge.
What is with you and the floor?
So
I can't even get to that one. That's on the other side of it.
yeah, so it fell off. But anyway, the fan blew it off or something happened to it. I don't know. But anyway, these labels, these are called Avery labels, and they're normally used for dresses. And John and I had this brilliant idea some years ago to here's what they look like. So you just peel them off and stick them on, and it's very nice. And if you buy those, if you want the template, just write us at gingercooklive.gallery. Contact us. That's free. And we'll send you the template, and then you just have to go up to Amazon or your local office supply store and get the labels. And then I'm going to suggest, like for instance, I'm not really using antique white. You might want to change some of the labels in here for colors that you use, right? And just try to keep that. Do you guys see how?
Could you move that off the palette, please?
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, so you see.
I'm going to be working on others when I ever get caught up with things. I'm going to make a whole different set as well, but those are the primary colors that the Queen of Color uses.
Yeah, pretty much the primary colors that we use. Now I want a little bit of yellow oxide in a clean section right here, and a little bit of bright yellow, right like that. Maybe I want a little bit of yellow right here. She had some yellow right here on the table, so I'm going to squiggle that on, like that. Oh, I love the colors that she did in this painting. I thought that they were just absolutely wonderful. And in this one, I just did, yeah, I really like that. I'm going to change it a little bit because she did have some of this color somewhere here. I'm going to take a little of this phthalo green and phthalo blue and white and make this color, because there was a little of this color over here too. Just because it was pretty, just because it's pretty. Another reason that I think that's really pretty. Now I don't know if you saw how I did the grapes. I just kind of made this light green color and just used the corner of this brush and kind of twirled it around and made these little grapes. Now to be effective on that, they have to have some little highlights. What we want to do, I'm going to dry them and use the Posca pen. She had hers kind of outlined, and we'll do it on this one. We kind of outline those, and then she had some kind of crazy little stems on the grapes.
Hey, we'd like to thank Debbie for the donation. Greatly appreciate that.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. We thank you very much for that. So look at how tiny I can get this line.
Well, we can't really because your hand's in the way.
Well, then it's your loss, man.
Boy, you guys should really see this.
Yeah, you should really see it. It's too bad you can't see it, man. It's really cool, right? So here's a little tiny grape stem here. Again, this would be better, larger, but this is what we're dealing with now. Now I'm going to just I've got some. This is some just Matisse yellow. I'm going to put some of that out because it's still open. And I've lost the cap, so there you go. Well, I have caps, but I don't feel like getting it. All right, so here's my yellow this is dried now. Here's my yellow on the lemons, okay? And lemons are never just one color, you guys. They're always a couple of colors. So here's a little bit green grape color on this side of it, like there. And right in here too on the bottom. Oh, let's do a little bit of orange on this one.
It's not focusing.
What's not focusing?
For some reason, it's gone back to automatic focus.
I'm put a little bit of orange on the bottom of this one.
Always something.
So there's and then I'm going to take a little bit of purple and come under this lemon, right like this, and give it a little bit of a shadow, which we lost. And a little brush, this little angle brush is so perfect for that. Absolutely perfect. And I want a little bit of a shadow under these grapes too. Okay, so that's sort of, that sort of puts your lemons, well it does, it puts your lemons where you see them. And there's a little bit of a dark line right here on the edge of the table. Here's a dark line like that. And then I'm going to take this purple, remember we made this neat purple phthalo blue, or rather phthalo blue green kind of color. I'm going to put a little bit of magenta in it and see what we get. Ooh, that's pretty. And I want to put a little of that color on my shadow going out this way. There we go. And around these lemons like that. Just sort of change that. Okay, so there's that. And then across here, now I know I'm just kind of adding colors. This is what's so fun, is you can add colors to all of this, okay? And here's some yellow. And I'm going to come back up here in the stems like that. Make sure I have this up here like this in the stems. And then let's do some white and magenta. Their magenta is just so gorgeous. that color. A couple of little buds coming out here like that on the picture. All right, so let's do a little bit of a dark blue. He had some dark blue between the flowers, and we're going to put a little of this dark blue between a couple of them.
Marilyn says, Ginger, you are a reincarnated impressionist master.
Oh, thanks, Marilyn. I appreciate it very much. I enjoy it very much, and I really enjoy what these people teach us. I really enjoy what we learn from the Impressionists too.
Kathy would like to know, is this my painting, my prize for my telephone?
for a telephone, for her telephone.
For her being her caller ID
She was
checker.
our caller ID. Well, the thing about it is we were trying to test to see if that would work once we changed the name on the Verizon account website, and it wasn't going to change it for a couple days. And wait, we're going to put some. I'm going to change this a little bit, you guys, too, because she had some green up here, and I'm going to put it on here. I didn't have it on this one, but I'm going to put it up here too. And phthalo blue and white and green here. There we go. This color. Oh yeah, beautiful. I'm going to put that up on there
Jazz
too.
would like to know, Ginger, your paints stay wet forever. What is the secret? Mine gets skins fast.
Well, look at all the little blobs. I'm putting out little blobs, and when they go very thin like this, they're dry. But when you blob them up, they stay at. Now here's the thing, you guys.
And
if you'll take a paper towel, right, and do an accordion fold on a paper towel like this, say something like this, right, and then make sure it's very damp, and lay that around the outside of your palette, and then put all your paints on that, and then mix on the inside. What that does is that it keeps the moisture in the paint. The other thing you can do is use a fine mister like this and mist the paints. Just
we've
give
also
it a,
found that the Holbein does stay.
and the Holbein seems to stay wet a lot longer. I don't know what that is, and I can tell you that because I don't have the problem with stuck caps. Like for instance, like this one I might because I let that cap sit out. But if I wet the cap before I put it back on, the caps are really have been very easy to get back and on, and not the paint doesn't seem to dry underneath as easily. So that's something too. All right, so now we've got.
Are we done with the lemons?
Almost. We're going to dry this. We're almost done with the lemons. How are we doing? Let's see. I needed a little bit of yellow right next to the vase here with white. Okay.
I've got to fix that. That's driving me nuts. I can't handle it.
What?
The focus is not working right.
Okay. Well, you want to come fix the focus?
Yep. Of course I do.
See? Look at that. See, wherever there's a light, there's a dark. Look what that just did to the vase by putting that little bit of yellow. Right there. See, I put that little bit of yellow there.
Okay, quit doing it for a while.
Okay. So John's going to focus the camera for a little bit to try and fix that.
It says it's manual. What is going on?
I give up what's going on. It's always, the equipment is such a challenge it seems to be for us, doesn't it?
All right, try that.
And then I'm going to go right here. See, I keep dripping water, which is annoying.
You'll shake it out at the end of your ferrule of your brush.
No, it's not even that. It's on my fingers even. All right, so I want a little light thing here like that.
I won't even ask why your fingers are covered in. Oh, look at that. It's much better. Can we do the whole show over again?
Yeah. Okay, so you've got that. Now I'm going to dry this, and then I'm just going to take the Posca pen and do a couple things, all right? And we'll be good to go, and then we'll do our 10-minute painting thing. Oh, and you want to see what...
10-minute painting thing.
You guys want to see what... I showed you what we're painting for next week, right?
For this week.
I showed you what we're painting for this week, right, which was the Van Gogh. I showed you this, those of you who missed it. This is in our Art Academy for this week. This will be this week's release. Now, next week, we're doing this one, this vineyard.
Whoa, wait a minute, I've got to back out.
And these are totally different styles of painting. You'd think I just teach old dead guys. This is one of my original pieces. We're going to be doing this in a couple of weeks if you're an Academy member. I really love this. It's the time of year to be painting fall vineyards. Kathy can attest to that in France, where we saw a lot of beautiful vineyards. And I saw them both in the summer and the fall, and they are just stunning. So, all right, so here we go. Look at these gorgeous colors in this. Isn't this fun? So I'm going to dry this real quick, and then we're going to do the Posca pen, all right?
Okay, go. Holbein paints seem to be available. Jerry's has them. Dick Blick has them. They seem to be available almost everywhere. A little bit easier to get than Matisse. Seem to run about the same price as Golden's. for the most part. Always look for a sale. Other than that, Facebook Club is open for people to join us. Maybe Ginger would like to talk a little bit about our Facebook group.
Oh yeah, you guys, we have the most amazing Facebook group, and it's only because we have 6 moderators that volunteer.
We have 7.
7 moderators that volunteer to make it perfect. And I mean, it really has nothing to do with John and I. I mean, we thought up the idea, thanks to our moderators who make sure that the comments are all kind and lovely and they come from the heart and they're supportive. No one's allowed to say anything mean. They're just gone, right? And the comments deleted. So it's one of those safe places to show us your art. Everybody says, I did your tutorial. I want to know where I can show it to you. And I want to see what you did. I really want to see what you did. And I can see, if you go to GingerCook Acrylic Painting Club, the GingerCook Acrylic Painting Club on Facebook, ask to become a member. And we decided, for a long time we were keeping it a closed club, and then we decided it'd be more fun to add more people. So at least for a while, we're adding more people. And as I shake this up, and we have some great stuff. For instance, most of it's focused on the lessons that we either find here or over the 300 lessons that we have in our Art Academy, even the Wave and Water master classes and our YouTube stuff. But then also we on Wednesdays, we ask people to show us what you're working on. It doesn't matter where you found it, just what are you working on? We love, and then you can ask for help. You label it CC, which is constructive comments. And we've got some amazing artists. We have over 4,000 members. We've got some amazing artists on there, and a lot of them take the time to tell you, to give you their personal viewpoint. Sometimes I'll comment too. I'll come in and comment, but I'm telling you, it's a great place to get help, to really sincerely get help without feeling bad. It's just a fun place to be. Judy's always telling us where the deals are. We have people from all over the world, and it is an absolute, wow, look at the good thing I pumped it, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to just very carefully.
Wait. What are you going to be doing? The grapes?
Yeah, the grapes.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me get down there. Just cool it.
Yeah. Okay, I shook that up, and you see I pumped it, and I dumped all that paint out there.
Go, boss.
Okay, so I'm just she had her grapes outlined, and I'm just going to
Did she have them outlined in blue? I didn't remember.
Well, blue or black.
Okay.
So I'm just going to, not completely, but just a few lines to suggest some grapes here.
It sounds like she's making a martini.
Like that, and just put the little stem in like this, maybe something like that. So, and I'll just put maybe a little outline right here on the outside of the handle. Okay, and I think there wasn't a lot of there's not a lot of outlining on here, but I happened to notice that she had done that, so I thought I would do that, and then
the lower left flower doesn't have a center. That guy.
No, we'll put one, thanks. So here's a little bit of white here too on the top of this. If you had a little trouble getting the little bit of white here on this lemon. There, okay. So just sometimes a little Posca pen is very handy to do that with, all right? So anyway, I hope you guys, try, consider trying, painting one of these. And again, if you want to, Google her and put in the whole basket or whatever, that's fine. I just think my personal feeling is that it's a little bit more effective without it. How's that? Let's see, I don't want that dark.
Well, again, she's self-taught and did the best she could, right?
Yeah, absolutely. She's self-taught, and she just hung out with the guys, and I'm impressed. I'm impressed with her and everything about how she did stuff. I'm just absolutely impressed with her. It's a little bit lighter flower here. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to just kind of touch up something. Okay.
It doesn't hurt. Ow.
To come back and do a little touch up. Okay, I'm going to just call that done for now. I think that we're pretty good here. And each time you paint it, of course, you're going to do it slightly differently. But that's our base of flowers, and it's really very abstract, which I think it's a very, very abstract sort of vase, and it's very in the style of Matisse. So for sure that's exactly what she did. Here's sort of a combination of hers Not going to kind of show you like that. And she had all these apples and everything down here. And I kind of like what we've got right here, but you know, just all personal preference. And I also want to lighten up a little bit of something right here. Here's our, where's my light? Here's a little bit of white and yellow. I want to lighten up something right here. There we go. I'm seeing that right there. I didn't have it on the other one, but I'm going to do it on this one. Just a little bit more yellow in it, but there we go. Just yellow was an expensive color too, you guys. This was this was a pricey color to use. Oh yeah, that looks a little better. Okay. All right, I'll sign it and moving on with our painting that we're going to be. I'm going to just sign it right here. Not there. We're not going to do that with this one. There's two different styles of Posca pens. There's two different sizes. One is a fine point and one is not. I was going to try these brushes. Judy sent me these brushes, and I'll try these with our giveaway. These are some brushes Judy found on the internet. She's one of our moderators and friends that we've known for a number of years, and she's the gal that sings the song at the end of the show. And she found those, and we'll try those when we do our for our giveaway painting. How's that? But let me just here, let me show you the difference between the fine point. Is that different? Yeah. Okay. So just stuff like that, you know. I like the fine point much better. They come in all kinds of colors, but the ones that I probably use the most are the white and the blue and the black. Probably are the ones and they don't have a dark brown that I could find. If they have one, I haven't found it. All right, that's our painting for the day. Hope you guys had fun with that. Now, right now, while we're answering some questions, oh, you want to see what we're going to be doing next week? How about this one?
Ooh.
This will be next Sunday afternoon. Our live show for next Sunday will be these flowers, a little bit of the Mediterranean. See, right? That's going to be Sunday. We're going to paint that, and I think we're going to do that on an 8x10. Make it a little bit bigger, kind of crowd it on a 6x8. We're going to do an 8x10 on this. So if you're wondering what to pre-paint with that, do a blue background. All right, so let's see. I need a canvas.
You got one?
Some miscellaneous canvases.
Do you have you want a new blue sheet, or you good there?
I think I've got something here. This is what we do with our leftover paint when is that, you know, we use the leftover paint this and have a nice stack of these canvases. I mean, this is a great solution to it because, you know, what do you do with leftover paint? So a lot of people throw it away. This is how we, you know, economize. Now, our friend Becky Masters is one of our volunteer Facebook club moderators. What she does is she takes all her paint and mixes it all together, gets a gray, and puts it in a jar, and then she just paints all her canvases with this kind of like a gray color when she's done. Okay, so that's what Becky does. But we're not doing that.
No.
I think I'm going to.
Yeah, we aren't doing that, are we?
Well, no, John's not doing that. Is that what you were saying? Was that the big hint, John? That you were not doing that? Sounds like a big hint to me.
No. Me say something like that?
Yeah, it sounds like a big hint to me. All right, so...
Hey, random question. Is Ginger still using the Amazon ink program for her HO printer?
Oh, gosh, yes. I love that Amazon.
It's not an Amazon program. That is...
It's an HP program.
It's an HP program.
And you know what's funny is that some years, and this is what size is this? This is a 5/8.
Oh, I said the word.
So some time ago, I met... gosh, look at this. I've got paint all over me. This rag's dirty, and I just keep wiping my hand on the rag. I don't have another one. Do I? Yeah, maybe.
Hint.
Here's one. Okay. Some time ago, I'm going to just take some white up here and a little ultramarine blue while we're talking. Some time ago, I happened to meet at a painting party that I was teaching some executives from Hewlett-Packard who offer that service, right? The ink service. And I don't think they had any idea when they were offering that deal to people. They didn't understand it. The deal that we're talking about is you get a printer. They got about 5 printers that do this. And then for like under $5 a month, they replace all the ink. They don't care if it's color. So for artists who want to print out lots of colored photos, say like this, you want to print out dozens of colored photos, they don't care. You know, it is cheap. It is like the cheapest thing ever. John got one of those printers also. and they are great. Okay.
They are very helpful.
We love those, right? Just absolutely love those.
You're using the new brushes, right?
No, well, this is it. This is a 1/2 inch angle.
Oh, you're
I'm not. Judy's brushes were all small. They're all small little detail brushes. I'm not trying those yet.
I got you. I got you. Sorry. Just,
Keep up.
it's hard to.
I know. Just take off the rest of that. Now,
What size paint is the vineyard?
the vineyard is 20 by 10. It's 20 by 10. This is a pretty green. Don't you think that's a pretty phthalo green? You guys, come on, that is a pretty phthalo green, isn't it?
It really is.
I mean, for just talking about pretty colors, yeah? So now I'm just taking my brush and these are our little fast paintings, right? And so how do people win one of these, John, if they've never been on the show? How does it win one tonight? You have to be in the live audience to win it.
You have to be in the live audience for one, and we have a link on the website, and the moderators are putting the link, and the secret word today is lemon fresh. Words. Because I need to put an S on that. And they just click on that link and fill out our little questionnaire. NHK is asking, is it bad, in quotes, if a silhouette of my charcoal sketch shows through the canvas when I hold it against the light shining from the back? Otherwise, it doesn't show.
I don't know.
I think it's kind of cool.
I would have, what I would have done to prevent that from happening, I think, is use more paint. Also, you could have sprayed it with a barrier coat, a sealant coat, before you painted. Charcoal has a tendency to want to smear, right? Smear. So there might have been a nice temptation to. See, I think what we're not seeing here anymore is white. Pretty much, everybody would agree that we're out of the white, right? We're out of the white,
yeah,
so
white's gone.
White's gone. So we'll just put a little more white out, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, I would
here.
say that the paint probably wasn't applied thick enough, or it wasn't a heavy body.
Yeah, you're using student grade paint, but you don't really want to see it. But a lot of times people either put the paint on too thick or they don't put enough paint on, enough layers. And if you had done an underpainting for it, but see, the problem is with the charcoal sketch, you should have done it on top of an underpainting. And I wouldn't have used done charcoal anyway. I would have done the sketch on a piece of paper, and then I would have sprayed that with varnish, the paper, so it didn't smear, and then I would have taken a pen and transfer paper and transferred my image to the painting. That's how you should have done that, by the way.
By the way. I guess you're going to dry now. All right, as she's drying, if you have any other questions, pop them in there while we can. I'm asking a new question in there tonight, and we're looking for some feedback. We're trying to figure out what we want to do. She uses the, what kind of pencils are you using? They're a pastel or?
Well, I use new pastel chalk.
And the Conti?
Conti, they're Conti. This is a white Conti. They call it Conti charcoal pencil, and it sharpens. And then we also found some general white chalk, and they're called general pencils, and they're white chalk in a pencil that's kind of nice. Some people use watercolor pencils. They find that to be very effective. We have not done that, though we bought some recently, didn't we? On sale somewhere, we bought some to try watercolor pencils.
We have the Prismacolors.
Yeah, the Prismacolor watercolor pencils.
Yeah. Well,
and you're supposed to be able to use those because they're not, right?
Supposedly.
Supposed to be able to use those, right? So forth, right? That's what you're supposed to be able to use those with. Okay, so I'm going to just. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so
we've got 400 people watching and 200 entries are in. So half of you haven't bellied up to the bar.
Well, no, some people can't enter where they are. What kind of devices make it hard to enter
you have
on?
to have something that you can type on for one. So your television viewers have to get out the cell phone or the laptop or the tablet and get onto it. So you have to have access to the internet as a browser. How many hours a day do you paint, Ginger?
How many hours a day? Well,
Not enough.
John says not enough. I try to paint. Here's what I do. One of the things that gives me great pleasure is I do personal art coaching, and people send me their artwork that are Academy members, and from either something that they made up or from one of our lessons on YouTube or in the Academy, and they say, "What do you think?" And sometimes I write back and say, "I think you should frame it. It's just so well done," or just I like it just the way it is. And sometimes I might say, "You know, this is really great, but if you did a couple of things, it would be even more effective than what you've got going there." Okay, so I get a bunch of those in every day, and I spend the morning shooting actual videos with the people. It's like having me in your house, where I'm actually. Let's see. Let's try some of these new brushes now from Judy. Let's see what they do with these sharp edges. Let's see if we can get a good edge from these. Well, here's I need a little tiny one, little angle brush. Let's see what we can do. Anyway, so we do that, and sometimes, and there's people then send the artwork back and ask me what I thought, okay? And, and sometimes I'll say, "This is great. Now you've got that, now do this." Sometimes that's all we do, and sometimes we just keep going, depending on what's being asked, okay? Sometimes I might, to explain, particularly if it's an original piece, we're talking about even doing a whole series on this for our members, on original piece, what makes a good design and what doesn't, and, how to set up a still life, that kind of thing. But that takes the morning from about 6:30 in the morning till about noon. That's what I do, and then after breakfast, noon or 1, and then after breakfast, I can take some time, and I'm usually painting till dinner. So that's the schedule.
And sometimes after dinner would be more.
Yeah, sometimes after dinner. John and I have been known to actually film till the wee hours in the morning, and then John is up till about 3. He spends half his day answering emails and doing stuff to the website, and today I had to get him up early because there was a problem, and I had to get him up early. And I felt bad about it, but there was a kind of an issue with the website, and we needed his expert attention on it. How's that? That's what needed to have happen. So
Monza synthetic mongoose short angle brush.
Okay, that's what we're using right now, and I think we had a pretty good. Didn't you think we did pretty well with the with the fine lines? Did you guys think so?
Yeah,
I thought it did some pretty good lines here.
They look like branches.
They look like branches, so we got some pretty good.
Caroline would like to say, "Love the pack, thanks, Ginger."
Oh, I'm so glad, and I sincerely hope Suzanne's not mad at me. just because sometimes I may have to tell you that the photograph that you think would make a nifty painting will not make a great painting at all, and you could spend hours on it, and then you'd be unhappy because you don't have a center of interest. You don't have there's reasons why it isn't such a great idea. But then I might show you then what you can do with that photograph, or how you can find some other references to do what you need to do. So I try not to leave you hanging high and dry. But it's very rare. I know when I was first learning to paint, if I could have had professional artists have been doing this for as long as I personally have, give me an honest opinion about what I could do with my artwork, I would have been absolutely thrilled. Because that's.
I probably would have stayed in painting if I had an instructor like the Queen of Color.
So I'm just saying that it would have been. I would have considered it just really a great, to be able to have that. So I have to say that that's kind of what we do. And then a lot of times I'm looking for things to paint. We just, it's not, I think sometimes people think it's put a quarter in, get an artist out or something,
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
But I think that my daughter coined that phrase because back when I was designing paintings for the painting party business, that and I had that back when I was designing paintings for that company. There was just I was always astounded how easy my boss thought at the time that one could just do that. Well, I need a painting. Somebody commissioned a party and they want a custom painting. Can you bring one over in a couple hours? Really,
sure, not a problem.
Yeah, and the bad thing is I spoiled him and I did it a lot, right? So then
I did the same thing with Mark. He wanted something right away, and we were a glutton for punishment, I would say.
Yeah, John and I were just abuse junkies, I think, because we sure took a lot of abuse from people. I never would take it now, right? But at the time, we sure did, right? And which is a shame, but we did. So anyway, that was our bad for just putting up with that.
Well, we discovered there's more to life.
Yeah, we sure did, huh?
Yep.
And and that's okay. But you may find as you're, particularly this is what happens to a lot of my students, that they find that as they start painting, okay, that somebody wants, Aunt Martha really would love that for her house, and Susan's getting married next week, and if you really loved your cousin, you'd paint this, and you've never painted whatever it is in your life, and it wasn't on your bucket list of things to paint, but now the family pressure is on. They want you to paint that, okay?
Become the artist. Yeah.
Yeah, they have no clue where you're at. They just see that they're amazed by whatever you're painting, and regardless of what level you think you're at, and they're going to suggest all kinds of stuff that they'd like you to paint. And it's very hard to say, I know, it's very hard for people to say no, right? It really is. This is a lovely brush, Judy.
Now,
like this one.
As far as firmness and stiffness as compared to the rubies?
Well, they're a little softer. They're for sure a
Rubies?
little softer,
Okay.
but here's another one. We'll try this one.
So a little bit softer than the ruby satins.
Yeah, a little bit softer, right? For sure.
Now, are they as soft as those ones we got on Amazon?
No.
Okay.
The Amazon's ones were really soft,
Yeah.
okay? So they're not as soft as that, right? Okay, let's put a little bit of...
John, if I'm not being too nosy, how'd you all meet? That's from Carol.
Oh, Carol. Well, we've had some videos where we've talked about that, where we met.
Hey, wait. Before you start this, I want to give a wave back to my 2-year-old grandson, DJ. Hey, DJ! Thanks for being at the show, buddy. Appreciate it. Pick up a brush and start painting.
Whose
Go
grandson?
ahead.
Your grandson?
No, not my. I don't have a grandson.
Well, I was going to say
Charlie's
this
not
is
even married. Well,
well, this
I know
is
you don't have
news
do
to
that.
me. I'm
Well,
just saying,
Brenda P said, John, my 2-year-old grandson keeps waving at you.
yeah, but you didn't say that. You said
Well,
it was your
you wouldn't
two.
let me elaborate. I'm lucky to get a word in edgewise.
You said it. Come on, you guys. You all thought it was his grandson he was saying hi to, didn't you? Huh?
No. Okay, now go on. How did we meet? I love this story.
Well, my friend Mark Kessler, who's had an Emmy for his children's television shows and drawing and Secret City back when Cinnamon was a kid, and used to watch him all the time.
PBS guy.
PBS guy, and he happened to live in Houston, and I met him teaching at Jerry's Artorama, and he and I got to be friends. And he'd show up a few times a year and just teach kids to draw, and he really admired He said, you are the best painting instructor I've ever seen in all the years I've ever seen anybody paint. You are the best painting instructor I've ever seen. I can't believe that your students all are able to paint. He says, it's extraordinary. Okay? So anyway, we just kind of were friends, and then he had started his some sort of online thing, not on YouTube or anything, something else, and he'd been successful at it. And he said, listen, I think you should do this with me. Okay? That's basically what he said. And I said, I don't know, Mark. I don't know anything about, this sounds very complicated. I don't have the money for a fancy computer to do that. And I wouldn't have the first idea how to do it. And he says, well, I've got this fellow named John Little, and he works for me up in Michigan, and John will explain it to you. And then I talked to John, and John, I'm going, I don't know, John, this seems very complicated, okay? I'm very concerned that this might be above, my pay grade as far as being able to pull something like this off. And John said, in the most confident voice I've ever heard anyone, this is radio voice, he said, we can do anything. That's what John said. And I really believed him. That's how, then we got to know each other over the years, and and eventually formed this partnership. We found that what Mark was doing was not compatible with what I had a different audience. He had kids, and my audience was grown-ups, right? And for the most part, and so we just had different. We kind of had a mutual understanding of not being in business anymore. I paid him back for all the computer stuff that he had bought me, and then John and I became business partners. So that would be how we met, right?
That would
And
be
then
it.
about a year after about a year and a half, almost 2 years after Karen died, he was still in Michigan, and I said, we were still working on our company, and I said, you ought to just come on down to Houston. That was my thought we could be a little more effective, here. Well, now look, Judy, look at these great thin lines I'm getting with this brush. I mean, these are very nice, I have to say. I mean, I am getting these very, very tiny thin branches. See that? With this angle brush. It is, and it's carrying enough paint. One of the things that's kind of that can be a problem when you're trying to do fine lines on a brush is that the brush doesn't carry enough paint to allow you to do that. Does that make sense? So this is what I would say, that this brush really does carry enough paint, which is kind of cool when you think about it.
Now, could you hold up? Wait a second. I want to zoom in. I want that brush and the ruby satin silver that's like it side by side, so we can see the difference in the brush, the hair length.
Okay. Well, this is the smaller one, I think. They're similar, though, right?
Oh, so it's not a short. I thought they were going to be shorter.
It's a little longer. Do you see that? Just slightly longer.
Well, now what size is the
This is the one. What's this?
That's a quarter.
That's a quarter, and this is a
3/8.
And where's the 3/8 one? I have a 3/8 ruby satin. That's the 5/8. You gave me a 3/8, didn't you? Yeah.
Yes,
This is the 3/8. So
so it is a little shorter than the 3/8.
And it's a little narrower too. See that? It's
Just a
really
little bit.
closer to the 1/4 inch, right? I would say it's very much closer to the 1/4 inch brush than the.
But you seem to like that 3/8 one pretty good.
Oh, I mean, I like it. I mean, I have to say, I like it. I mean, I like it, and I like how it's. It does carry the.
Holds the paint.
It holds the paint very nicely, you guys.
Keep it
And,
on the microphone.
Okay, and it really does. I mean, I think we've got, I wanted to do something that would have like little tiny branches so that you guys. Now, one of the things when you have a glob of paint like that, wipe it off, right? And that's called shaping your brush, and reshape it, and then just use the toe of it like that. So make sure your brush is flat. We have a video on YouTube. It's called "Can Your Brush Do This?" And what I like about that video is that a lot of times you think it's you, and it's your brush, and maybe you, could be you. So it's either you or the brush, or it could be a combination of both. It's you and the brush, right?
Or it could be the paper instead of, you're not using canvas. I mean, there's a lot of things it could be.
Yeah, there are a lot of things
But
it
the
could be.
brush is really number one.
Yeah, but a lot of times it's not you at all. It's the brush. Okay, that's I guess what I would say. A lot of times
That's
isn't.
really the
It
bottom
isn't.
line.
It isn't. The bottom line is that it is not you.
The bottom line.
It is the. It is the brush. Because you should be able to do stuff like this with your brush, like that, and get a little
Can
low.
you put a duck in there? A duck does not belong in this picture. I am
No,
sorry.
there's no ducks.
I'm putting my foot down on that one.
No, there's no ducks.
If you
But-
paint it, you put your own duck in.
Yeah, there's no ducks, but we can we could jazz up that. We can get a little more
Who asked
because
for a duck? Missy
yeah.
Tammy.
Oh, Tammy, come on.
Come
We
on.
have a great duck. Did you paint our duck, Tammy, on our channel?
Oh, I love your
you
duck. That's a mallard duck.
You got a mallard duck?
You got a mallard duck.
Oh, I remember. I've got a great duck story. So back when my
Oh, wait, before you do that, do canvases get old?
no, paint does and tape does. You know what gets old is tape. Tape gets old, and the older it gets, the stickier it gets. And sometimes then it gets too sticky. Tape gets old. I was shocked. Tape gets old. The
Yeah, tape does get old.
Canvases can warp, but they don't really get old. Back back when I was, I think you guys may have noticed that when I was young, I was 5 years old, my family was taken in and adopted. My brothers and sisters and I, we were adopted by this couple that couldn't have children, the judge and his wife, Lucille Wilkins. And things went along swimmingly, and they got my brothers off in boarding school right away, and we just saw them at Christmas and for photo ops for the newspaper. And then finally she had them living in a house across town. And my dad saw them on weekends or stopped by occasionally. I don't know. They all were raised like wolves. And then my sister and I, lived with her, and then of course we were going to, let's see, we had private schools and all that stuff, so, and camp every summer. So I mean, we sort of were there, but we really weren't. And then even that got to be too much. And so she found this couple on Mercer Island in Seattle, Clint and Mary Boyd. It was very tragic, really. They turned them into keeping us, my sister and I, and they decided they'd be like grandparents. They were really too old to have kids. They were in their 40s when they adopted us, and they thought maybe they would just take the role of grandparents, and the Boyds could be our parents, my sister and I, right? And they told my sister if she ever wanted, and of course we had to agree to do this because the Boyds weren't going to let us do that unless my sister and I agreed. And I later found out they told my sister that if you ever want to see your brothers again, you'll agree. Really, that's what they said. So anyway, back to, so you have to have the content. So the Boyds were the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. I really loved them. They were so nice. This lasted for about a year, and then I guess their friends said, what happened to your kids that you adopted, right? And then it looked bad at cocktail parties. But anyway, they changed their mind and then told the boys that bad things would happen to them if they protested. This is a group that liked to threaten. It was effective too, man. Anyway, so we never saw the Boyds again. But I love Mary Boyd. She's a lovely person. And what I remember most about her was that somebody had gone hunting and brought home a duck and just plopped it on the kitchen counter with some newspaper and told her that she should pluck the duck and clean it.
Pluck the duck.
And clean it. And of course this was not making her happy at all. She must have been I'm sure she must have been in her 30s, right? And they couldn't have kids. And, then I was about, how old was I then? About, it was like in second grade, I guess. My sister was 3 years older. So anyway, she went to do something with this duck, and it went honk, because it still had air in it.
In its lungs, yeah.
And she went screaming out of the room, and forever tainted my feeling about ducks and eating them and cooking them, right? It's forever scarred now from that, watching her panic over the duck. All right, that's my strange little adopted story about ducks and Clint and Mary Boyd.
Margaret would like to know, how do you store your loose canvases that have been painted on?
We just hang them on the wall, or we just stack them, but you just don't want to stack them together.
We don't stack them. They're like a book. They're on their edge.
Yeah, we put them on our edge, or we either hang them or we put them on the edge.
If you're really worried about it, put parchment paper between them. That keeps them from sticking if they stick. Question, Ginger, have you ever painted on masonite board primed with kiln primer? If so, how'd you like it?
You know what? What did we find? What was that masonite board I painted on the other day? Where's that?
That's right here. I happen to have a brand new one you can show.
John found these at Jerry's, right? These masonite boards, that have canvas on them. That's what these things are. They're called Protones. Jerry sells these, and they've got this gray thing. I had to sand it, but I like this very much. It was very nice.
It's a nice surface, and when they're on sale, they're like 50 cents for the 6x8 size.
Which, now you got to think, you get 10 of these sheets
for a quarter.
For $2 1/4 on sale from Jerry's, or you can get one of these on sale for 50 cents. So, and you can mount these on foam core, and then you have about the same thing. So, and somebody asked me the other day, how do you mount those on foam core? A lot of different ways. What would you suggest, John? There are a lot of different ways to mount something on foam core. Yes and yes, right?
I'd probably use a spray adhesive.
Well, you could use a spray adhesive. You could
double-sided tape.
Use a little varnish and do it too. That would certainly glue it.
Anything that becomes sticky. So have you ever done a masonite board?
I have done masonite, and you know one of the primers I really liked you can buy masonite at like at Home Depot and Lowe's, and one of them, I forget which one, will cut it up for you with no extra charge. You have to take all the pieces.
They do charge now, boss.
Are they charging now? But you have to take all the pieces. Okay.
Yeah.
But so I had done and what I liked was Liquitex makes a really wonderful.
Sustainable gesso.
It's called black gesso, but it doesn't leave any brush marks. It's really neat. When you're all done, even using a brush, it's perfectly smooth. All right, I think I'm done here. I'm going to sign this. You guys, our little tree with the
Do you
with
remember
the
the
rocks.
name of the mat you're on? Your gray mat? It's Oliver somebody, isn't it? Ken Oliver?
I can't remember it, but if you write us, we'll tell you.
Yeah, if you write us as a trade secret. I think I want to. What is the brand of brush you're using
too.
now?
No, we have
a Monza brush?
Yeah, these are nice, Judy. I like these. Thank you very much, by the way. Judy sends us some of the nicest stuff. We appreciate it very much. And it's always fun to try things. Somebody sent us this mat, to try, and we really like the mat too. So just never know.
We have some adoring fans. Well, I think they got tired of the way our place looked. I mean, it looked like a pigsty.
Yeah, it did.
I didn't know something like that existed.
No, and this is a really good mat here too. So
nothing sticks to it. I can't get anything to stick to it.
No. So this is
okay. She's winding down, so we're going to do last call for the entries. We have about 290 out of the 449 visitors.
Okay.
This painting is called
bonsai tree.
Bonsai tree. Did the paint seem to dry slower on the? Oh, how did the paint dry on the masonite boards?
About the same, because once you do an underpainting, it's got to be the same.
Yeah, once the underpainting's on, it's going to be the same.
Where you run into trouble, quite frankly, is your paper. If you start painting on something that they call acrylic paper, that has its place, and there are things for it, but it will. It does have its place, but I'm not a big fan. I don't recommend doing it, and I'm not a big fan of that. Right? Does that make sense?
It's not. There's not a place for it in our academy. Let's just put it that way.
No.
Ginger, would you use? Wait a minute. What would you use to paint on a plastic cup to keep paint from washing off?
Like on a plastic cup. You've got to buy the spray from Home Depot. It's for plastic. It's for the step 2 mailboxes and all that stuff, and you spray the cup with that. But if you put it in the dishwasher, it probably is going to come off.
It has to be hand washed.
So
without a scrubby.
So why do you want to? I guess the question is, why do you want to paint that? And no, and not being sarcastic, but what do you want it? Because I have a friend. You can actually go to the drugstore, Walmart, CVS Pharmacy, and take your painting, and they'll put it on a cup for you, and whatever else you want written on there, give them the file, and then guess what? You can wash that.
That's true.
So, I mean, I would do that rather than fool around with the plastic cup, yeah?
Well, Kathy's making a good point here. Use acid-free foam core when attaching a painting or any other artwork.
Oh, Kathy's a professional framer, so she knows.
Well, she would know.
It's good to know. Kathy is a professional framer. One day she's going to come on the show. We're going to talk her into coming on the show, and she's going to tell us all about the framing secrets and running an art gallery. All right, so I'm signing this. Let's give it away. Let's finish it up tonight here.
Finishing up tonight. Okay, last call. This is it. Link's coming off.
Okay.
What time is it? Oh, it's a 2-hour show. I love how we do our 5-minute shows.
Yeah, don't you like that? It's like Gilligan's Island with us, right?
Never a dull moment with us. That's going. All right. Link is off. Look at that. I know how to push the buttons now.
I'm seeing that. These are cute,
All right. Here we go.
All right, there's our picture.
I like that one. I'm thinking we don't want to give that one away. Sammy, what do you think? We want to keep that one?
Well, no, they're not keeping. We're giving it away. Who's winning it, John? Who's won it?
Oh, always.
Oh, thank you. Who's that?
Eric, thank you for the donations in
Eric.
the PayPal system. Eric.
Oh, gosh, Eric, that's so sweet. And Eric had to go to the emergency room.
But he's good now.
And he says that those of you who were watching the show yesterday where he had to leave, he's okay. For those of you who want to know, because we all wanted to know. And if you want to keep up with all our friends on our Facebook, Eric's on Facebook too, and so we get updates from people, you know.
And we're working on the next challenge.
Next challenge too, besides doing all our other fun stuff, right? All right, so you guys, we're giving this away. I know I signed it, but I'm still fooling with it.
You always do.
As long as we're waiting for it, right?
We are waiting for it.
Okay. There's our little rocks. I think that's fun, right?
Just waiting for our girl.
Okay, so here we go. Let's just put it like this. Here, I'll just get that paper out of the way. Now you can kind of see it all by itself. All happy. And here's what, for some of you who came in late and said, I thought you were painting lemons. Here's the,
We did.
we did. We painted lemons and flowers. This is that. This is the giveaway right there. So this is our lemon painting and flowers. So yes, we did do that. We confused some people yesterday who, because we did, what did we do yesterday? Oh, we did the peach tree.
Oh, and that was a good lesson.
Yeah, it was. And we did
That's
this yesterday. We did this one. That's on the peaches, and that was actually a Gogh, wasn't it?
I don't think you told me.
Didn't I?
No, you didn't.
No, it wasn't. No, I'm having a moment now. No, no, it wasn't. It was somebody. Who was it? It was somebody.
I've always told you to put it on the back of it.
Well, I told you yesterday who it was. Well, Whitridge. This was Whitridge's.
There you go.
Whitridge. We're doing a Gogh, though. I got confused because we got a Gogh coming this
Ken
week.
Oliver, that's the name of the thingy. Ken Oliver.
Yeah, Ken Oliver. This is great because it just wipes up. See, I've got this. See, a little bit of something like nothing sticks to it. So see how there's a little.
We can't see anything because you're off
Here,
camera.
like here.
Oh yeah, you can see that one.
See, it wipes right up. And they make a smaller size too for when you travel, and we're taking that with us. And also, if you've got, even tape won't stick to it. So if you've got a project where you're using a little bit of hot glue or something to make something, it won't stick to that either. So I'm gonna, while John's drawing and we're getting out my tub of towels, I'm gonna clean my happy hands here. And we're also gonna give away some tub of towels tonight. If I had them, I'd show them to you. They were around here somewhere.
I need a number between 1 and 290.
All right, 1 to 290.
The random number between 290 and 55.
All the way down to the other one.
55?
55.
All right. So who's the lucky 55 person?
Carmen Pittman.
Carmen. All right. Congratulations, Carmen, on winning this. That's absolutely awesome. What you need to do then is use the contact us and send us your address. Your email will not do us any good. We cannot mail anything to an email. We actually have to have a physical address of where you'd like us to mail this to you. We will varnish this and mail it. Okay? Which is, good thing. And
we're
we
not
will
on Instagram as of yet. We'll be working on that next.
And also, we're going to be live again next Sunday at noon. Right? We'll be live again next Sunday at noon. So we hope you will join us then. That was this fun painting here that we're going to be doing like that, and we're going to do it 8 by 10, a little bit larger, to kind of make that happen. And I do like that phthalo green, don't you? From the Holbein, don't you think that's a pretty color? This is phthalo blue, phthalo green, and white. I mean, that is pretty, isn't it?
That's very pretty.
It's really glowy bright, huh?
Glowy bright. Can you tell us again what the surface that you're working on is? A Ken Oliver craft mat. Nothing sticks to it. It doesn't slide around.
Yeah,
she can get it to move.
It really doesn't.
But it doesn't move very easily.
Yeah, so I mean, it really protects your table. This was a nice big one. They make a smaller one too, and they roll up. They're very, very nice. We immediately went and bought one for the other desks that I paint on, and then we put one in our travel bag for when we travel, so that when you get out the paints, you panic people, particularly hotels and cruise ships. You go, "What you doing?"
Why are you doing it?
Why are you doing it? Can we help you? Are you all right? Because they want you to be happy, but on the other hand, they don't want anything wrecked. So when you put down a mat, then they're all happy again. You can almost see a collective sigh of relief when you do that. Look how that cleaned up my hands. I just want to say, aren't you impressed? This is in the, didn't
Alexa,
leave my hands there.
Pick a number between 1 and 290.
Your random number between 1 and 290 is 178.
All right, that's for 2 packages of these tub of towels. And
Terry
also,
Bishop, come on down.
Terry Bishop?
Yeah.
Terry Bishop. All right, so Terry, you're going to win a couple of packages of these tub of towels that they very graciously sent us. And of course, whoever won the painting is also going to win some, which I think is very nice. And Terry, if you already have some, these are great to have in the car or just put in your paint kit when you're traveling, just a little extra one, you know. I mean, come on, who's going to lug around a great big box like this, right? Besides me, well, I would. But, I mean, it removes everything, even nail polish. It's great. So,
Alexa, pick a number between 1 and 290.
Your random number between 1 and 290 is 280.
200, wow. You're throwing them all over the place. Art Thompson.
oh, Art, all right. Congratulations, Art. You won some tub of towels. All right, congratulations. That's awesome.
Art Thomas, sorry.
Art Thomas, he is one of our Academy members. In fact, I just did a personal art coaching for Art just recently.
I hope it was a good one.
I think so. I think it
think
was.
I hope you were nice to him.
Oh yeah, I'm
Well,
sure.
maybe the tub of towels will make up for it.
Yeah, I'm sure I was, right? But don't be afraid. You know, you really do. You really every once in a while just want a second pair of eyes looking at your stuff, right? But don't you love how this just cleans right up? This
I
whole
do.
thing. I love it, right? It just scrapes right off.
The sock
Like that,
forward in
and
me
just-
appreciates it.
Yeah, I love the fact that it keeps it so neat and clean. So,
We
all
have
right,
to
you
thank
guys. So
everyone else that sent to
if
us.
you have a question that you would like answered on the air, you can email us ahead of time. So we sometimes our moderators don't always have time to see everybody that has been asking questions. So we appreciate when we can be of help. Again, I want to thank Judy. Where do people get these brushes that Judy sent us? Do we know?
I think they're a Jerry's product.
Okay.
Jerry's Artorama has those.
And these are called, they're by the Silver Brush Company. They're the Monza ones, short, bright brushes. They're called a Monza.
So it's still made by Silver?
Still made by Silver. That's why they work so good.
Ah,
They're still made by Silver. Okay, this is a number
Interesting.
8. This was a bright 8. She sent me some nice package of little ones. The Silver, my opinion, the Silver Brush Company is got the best brushes on the planet. My opinion. If somebody else makes them better, you should send them to me, and I'll tell you what I think. Right now,
Ooh.
Silver wins, and
right
they
now
really
Silver wins.
Right now, Silver wins, and they did a wonderful set of custom brushes for my daughter, the Art Sherpa. I love those too. And incidentally, that's got paint on
Hey,
it.
do be sure to check out our Pinterest board, GingerCook Live on Pinterest. Judy has been working her tail off, updating it and moving things around and getting it really organized for us. And
For instance, there's a special board now for all the 10-minute paintings. And
well,
so you
no.
can-
Don't advertise that one yet. We just started that. We don't have
Well,
anything
we
in
will
it
have
yet.
it. Give us a week or two. And we got that. But we also, if you go, we have a YouTube board with just the YouTube links to the lessons and the YouTube, the printout. So you can, anything that we do on this year, from this year, for on YouTube, starting in January, you can find that. You can also see what's in our video lesson library for our members and what the new releases are, the top first 10 new releases, and also...
That'd be the top 12 because we're a cookie factory, so there's a dozen.
Yeah, okay. And then, he's so cute, isn't he? And then we've got the, then there's the board where we have it by category. So if you're sitting there, I want to do another landscape, I wonder where that would be. What is Ginger got in landscapes? You can find that board by category, and then you can look and see all the landscapes or florals or people or buildings or whatever. It just makes it, when you get this many lessons, it makes it a little bit more challenging to...
It's a daunting task to find the lesson you want.
It is. And I think that we left some paint in this one, but my tappy tub of towels is going to take that out. Here, like this. Look at these will clean brushes too, by the way. This is some dried-in paint in this brush. I mean, look at this. Look at that. This is the dried-in yellow paint. Let me get a new one. I'll show you. Don't you ever do that? Just leave a brush somewhere and go, whoops.
No.
No, John doesn't. But I mean, that happens to me all the time. Well,
Gee.
less now that John's here because he finds them and watches them before they get away from us. But I'm just going to move this. Look at that. I just want you to see how that's just going to...
Oh, I need to zoom. Wait. Where's my zoomer?
Yeah, zoom in on that. Look at how that's just picking up the paint off this brush.
Wow, you're bringing it back to life.
Well, I'm just
I've been
saying it was
replaced by a
working
tub of
before.
towels.
It was my fault, but that it was like this. But look, you just keep going till... I mean, this is cleaning out the yellow out of that brush, and it was yellow. And it was dried on there, too. Notice I'm not going down like this. I'm doing the side of it like that, okay? So look at that. Wow, huh? Here's a new place. Let's see what you got. Is it still... Well, I could probably do this for about 5 minutes, but you get the idea. It is cleaning that, okay?
Taking out dry paint. Now you need to wash that off with
yeah, soap and
soap
water.
and water.
Where'd the brush go? Oh, here, yeah. Put that in the... I'll put that in the... just rinse it off with soap and water and put it on the rag here. Wow, look, it's still pulling out now some yellow out of it. See that? Now...
But at least you brought it back to life.
Look at that. There's no yellow on that brush anymore. That's impressive. That alone is worth the price of admission. Aren't you glad you stayed till the end to see that?
Yeah, see, 100 people, 150 people have left us. They won't know this tip. We're going to cut this out so they won't have it. That'll teach them. So you people that hung in there, you're the winner. You get
Good
the
night,
special
you guys.
tip.
We'll see you in the club. All right.
See you in the club.
See you in the club. Take
Sammy
care.
and Judy, take us out of here. Night all.
Night.
I'm a student, I say with glee, of GingerCook's Academy. Take your time and do not rush. Use ruby satin, silver brush. Don't use black and mix the green. Learn what blend and grayscale mean. Yes, I hope each day to earn coaching praises as I learn. I'll be an artist, wait and see. Ginger means the world to me.